Welcome to another episode of Trucker Talk. I hope everybody, first off, I hope everybody has had a good start of their new year. So far, this is January the 4th. My days get kind of switched up because I be counting my nights and I be counting my days, but that don't make sense to y'all. You wouldn't understand it. So, anyways, hope everybody's having a good evening and a good start to their new year. Today, what I want to talk about is perception versus perspective. Same situation, different lens. So you got two people that can experience the same thing. One feels defeated, the other feels developed. The difference isn't what happened, it's how they see it. So perception is what we think is happening, and perspective is how we choose to understand it. So perception, let's start with perception. Perception is based on emotions, past wounds, and assumptions, often automated, influenced by trauma, stress, pride, and exhaustion. For example, and I've heard people say this, they didn't come back, or they didn't call me back, so they must not value me. Some people feel that way. So a perspective is, and the perspective is intentional and reflective, considers text, context, and growth, requires maturity and self awareness. So, another example, maybe they're overwhelmed or it's not aligned for me. So, perception it reacts, perspective, you respond. Say that again. Perception, you react. Perception, you respond. So, some real life examples. I'm going to just use my truck driving lifestyle, work life as an example. So, a perspective is, or a perception is, I'm stuck doing this forever. Now, the perspective is, this season is funding my future. Go to relationships. They change, so I wasn't enough. That was the perception of, I should have said, the perception. So they've changed, so I wasn't enough. And the perspective is, not everyone is meant to stay. Some people are lessons. Now, Mr. Eric, I'm gonna go over to mental health. You may or may not hear this. So the perception is, I'm tired because I'm weak. The perspective is, I'm tired because I've been strong too long. So you kind of get an idea. And some people, they can get perception and the perspective, they can get them confused. Like I said, they're similar, but it all depends on how you look at it. So, why perception can be dangerous. So, it causes misunderstanding, it creates unnecessary conflict, it makes us personalize everything, it keeps us stuck in survival mode. So, sometimes you got to uncheck perception and will lie to you, or unchecked perspective. Unchecked perception will lie to you. So sometimes you gotta, you gotta check it out. So, how to shift your perspective. So you have to pause before reacting. You have to ask better questions. What else could this mean? You have to separate facts from feelings. Check your triggers. You have to pray, reflect, and journal. A quote here: healing teaches you to change the lens, not the scene. So, again, the quote is: healing teaches you to change the lens and not the scene. So, for a moment, I'm gonna think about a moment where a personal reflection where I kind of got, I guess, my perception and my perspective kind of, kind of messed up. And I can look at it from trying to decide, what do I want to go to? I want to go to relationship, friendship. Do I want to go to work life? Good question. Hmm. Well, I'm gonna go to friendship. Some people, some people's perspective can be different on a friendship. You have friends that, well, let me tell you what I've learned a long time ago. Some people are givers, some people are takers. You gotta watch the takers. You have to watch them because to be a friend, you have to be a friend. You have to, it's give and take, you know. And a good friend of mine a long time ago, he taught me that, you know, sometimes even when you're a friend to other people, you have to, sometimes you have to do something that you don't want to do. Sometimes you have to listen to conversations that you don't want to listen to. Sometimes you have to just be there for your friends. And it's not a bad thing, but you know, if they was there for you, you ought to be there for them. So over the years, I have built great, strong relationships with, I can count on two hands the strong relationships that I have built over the years. And the friendships that I have, we both done for each other. It's never one sided. Never, you know, I these are all the things that I've done for you. Okay, I did this for you, I did that for you. It's never that. So if you have a friend that's keeping score, as George would say, you gotta, that ain't a friend. So if they keeping score, they trying to throw back in your face all the things they done for you, I would reevaluate that friendship because it's not good. It's not good. So, and I'm trying to think of an example. I can look at a work example because I'm gonna give a work example, and we've talked about this before. So a perspective, and I'm gonna use an example. So a perspective, a perception, and a perspective. So I work for a company, and I was a hard worker. I'm talking. Well, I was a hard worker, but what I've learned is every employee, everybody is held at different standards. I don't care what anybody say. Everybody is held at different standards, and I can do X, Y, and Z and do the job 100%. Employee B over here, he can do X, Y, Z and do 60%, and they will still reward both of you on kind of like the same scale. Or if they was doing evaluations, you know, you both will be getting like the same raise or whatever. And if I slacked up or something, I will possibly be getting a phone call or a reach. They would reach out to me. So for a while, I was I was hot about it. I was upset about it, and I reached out to my immediate. Well, I reached out to a supervisor about it, but I was a little upset about it. But here's the thing. Like there again, perception versus perspective. I was upset, but the thing about it, what I learned in the end is that my supervisor, he expected because of my position and relationships that I had and so forth, he expected so much out of me. But from my perspective, I was just like, man, it's not fair. It's not right. But he held me at a standard. Whether his perception and my perspective line align, which it didn't, I was still upset about it, but I understood his perception because he held me at a higher standard. And I'm grateful for that to this day. I'm not going to mention his name, but I'm grateful for that because that kind of set the tone for my work ethic, my work ethic, and me being on time to work, me showing up and doing the things that I need to do. So, thank you, supervisor from the past. Grateful for that experience because there again, I come across people that they don't want to work. They don't have that same mentality. So I had to experience that to build that mentality, and I'm just grateful for that experience. So for closing, everyone doesn't see life the way you do, and that's okay. But if you want peace, you have to be willing to adjust your perspective. I'm gonna say this again. Everyone doesn't see life the way you do, and that's okay. But if you want peace, you have to be willing to adjust your perspective. So before you react this week, I want you to ask yourself, is this my perception or my perspective? And me and a good friend of mine, we had a good conversation about this. This was actually Saturday morning. And I one of the things I enjoy is conversations with different individuals because my perspective can be different. I mean, obviously, my perspective and their perspective is two different perspectives. And sometimes when you get another person's perspective, it can kind of change the way that you think a little bit. And so with me, I always say that I am a student. I can be a student and I can be a teacher, but I'm always a student first because I'm open to learn anything and everything. And I learn from everybody. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be able to learn from everybody. And I learned that I learned from even the little kids. But it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful experience. So, safety tip of the week: slow down in work zones, even when nobody's watching, because lanes are tighter, workers are closer than they appear, and then happens sudden stops happen fast. And I see it all the time when I'm running my route. And you, of course, you got them, say Kentucky drivers, Tennessee drivers. Everybody drives differently. Some people drive aggressively, and some people just don't need to be driving. I'm just gonna be honest. And I said this on the I posted this, but I'm gonna say this. I think it needs to be said. But one thing, sorry, Kentucky. At night when I'm working at night and my eyes are not playing tricks on me. But if you're from Kentucky, can you answer this question? Why do well, let me not say everybody because somebody gonna say something. But why do 89% of you all drive at one headlight? It's just a question because every night I see it I see it all the time. Sometimes I think my eyes are playing tricks on me, but they not. And then in my mind, I'm thinking it's like 20 something degrees outside. Somebody on a motorcycle ain't on a motorcycle. So, but but anyways, church service was wonderful today. Pastor Austin Coleman, he delivered a very, very good message. And what I took, some of the things I took from the message was he was just encouraging, if you consider yourself a Christian and of course you go to church to serve and worship, don't be afraid to share your faith. Don't be afraid to invite somebody. Don't be afraid to just be open about, your faith. So, and you can sit in church all day, and like you said, you can clap and do all those things, but at the end of the day, you got people out there that they need to hear the word. So invite, invite, invite. And if you don't have a church home, come check out Heart and Soul. 1101 Corridor Boulevard. Now, if I said that wrong, I'd put the address in the comment section. But check it out. And I was telling somebody the other day, and I know my mama's not gonna watch this, so she ain't gonna get on my behind. But I remember there was a point in time where I hated going to church. I didn't like it. I was forced to go, and I just hated it because I was forced to do it. So, of course, I got out in the world, got my life experiences. I still got some more stuff to experience. But I'm grateful that my parents got me into church, even though I got away from it. That's they started me in the church, and I'm grateful for that. I will say that for the record, they introduced me to church. But I will say for the record that this church that I go to now, and if you do find you a church home, you need to go for you need to go somewhere where you're going to get fed. You don't need to go because your homeboys or your homegirl or somebody singing in the choir or whatever. You need to pick you a church home that's going to feed you. They have good people and they serve coffee. Take that out. Take out the script. But they gonna feed you. So and one of the things about Heart and Soul that I can say is when I first went back when I was at Burton High School, they would do it in the auditorium. I was at a low point in my life, a low point. So George, the guy I do the podcast with, he sent me a text one Sunday, and of course, I took him up on his offer, not an offer, but the invite. So I checked it out. But the thing about it is, I feel like they make you feel like you're at home, welcoming. They are, they're just loving people. I mean, they're not fake because some churches you can go to, well, they fake because you walk up to them and sometimes I'm gonna give my secrets away. What I do is I'll go, I'll be like, "Hey, how you doing?" I speak to them, and then when you walk past them, I'll do that quick look, like, let me see if they still smiling. And some of them, they ain't smiling. They got them big. You see them teeth and them smiles. And when you walk past them, that smile's off like that. You're like, all right, man, this is all for show. But no, over here, Heart Soul, it's real. They they accept you, for who you are. They're friendly. You know, Austin, Sarah, and the whole staff, they're doing a wonderful thing. And they are growing and they're going to continue to grow of the atmosphere and the atmosphere, the experience, the messages that he delivers every Sunday. It's it's phenomenal. Can I say that? Phenomenal. Can I say that word right? LJ, can I say that? It's amazing. Fantastic. So I'm just talking now. But anyways, I hope your New Year's off to a good start. But and I hope y'all have a good week. I think the weather is supposed to change a little bit this week. It's supposed to get back a little warmer, but Tennessee, I don't think Tennessee can make their mind up. This weather's like bipolar. Weather's bipolar here, so it's a bipolar weather. So, anyways, I hope everybody have a good rest of your evening. Have a good, beautiful week. You enjoy the rest of your day. 10-4.
It's the drip from me, Strozar.